Hi, this is Stu, and of course at the beautiful Purple Valley, and again here with Dave Robson. And today we're going to look at the drop back sequence, whether you call it the backbending sequence, drop back sequence, we've just been having a conflab about. But the bit after you've done Urdhva Dhanurasana, and that you're then going to be doing your drop backs, and we're looking really at assisted drop backs at the moment, yeah? So how important is it for us to do these in the first place?
The backbending sequence, I think it's pretty important because it balances out all the forward bending you do when you're learning primary series. So it's usually people's first experience with deeper back bends.
Okay.
The thing is you don't want to start doing it too soon because the body has to be strong enough and flexible enough to get into it. You can kind of mess your back up if it's too early. So usually you wouldn't start doing even Urdhva Dhanurasana, sort of the first stage of the backbending sequence.
Yep.
You wouldn't start doing that until past Navasana, So once you get past Navasana, then it's introduced, Urdhva Dhanurasana. And then later in the sequence, it seems to depend on each person, their capacities. But usually sometime after Supta Karmasana, anywhere to the end,
yes,
then we'll introduce dropbacks. And those are almost always assisted at first for a while, sometimes years and years, sometimes forever.
Forever.
And then when you're doing the full sequence, then eventually from the third Urdhva Dhanurasana, you would come up on your own to standing, and then drop back again, come up, and you do that 3 times.
Yep.
And then you would get the assist. You would do 3 half backs, and then you get bound in Tirya Mukha Tanasana.
So that's where you hold your ankles.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Or try to, walk the hands.
Yeah, we won't be doing that one.
Yeah, and that's become like, there's a lot of emphasis on that in Mysore now.
And is there any reason, because that is like ridiculously deep, isn't it?
It's so deep, yeah.
And so
for people like us, our build, it's really difficult.
What is the point of being able to backbend as deeply as that?
I was at a conference and somebody asked Shurat, like with that tone of voice.
Yes, yeah.
And he said, no point, just fun.
Fair enough,
it was funny, the whole room kind of laughed, but then you could tell people got a little bit pissed too. Like they were like, but it's because it's so hard,
Yeah. And you really want a valid answer, really.
And then he said, if you can develop equanimity in there, when you're doing something so difficult, then you can be calm anywhere. Okay. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's a way to extend and push your boundaries, in a controlled way.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start in, and you can talk about what we're doing as we're going through, can't you?
So let's start with Urdhva Dhanurasana?
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any way that you like people to go up? Do you want to just talk me into it the way you would set up?
Yeah, sure. So feet, I like to have feet a little wider than hip width.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the knees and the heels should be in line. So a lot of the time people pull their heels right up against their bum.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably a more supported shape if the knee is directly over the heel to start. Yep.
So about that.
That looks about right. And then the hands back by the ears. And just like knees over the heels, you want the elbows over the wrists.
And do you lift the hips first or anything?
Before you put your hands back?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't. I start with an arch in the lower back. So I go
Towards
into a little bit
ceiling?
of an anterior tilt. Good. And I try to find the heels. And then I energize the arms. So I push through the arms. I reach from the deltoids. Yep. And then slowly trying to lift from here. Yep. Pulling the hips forward, using the arms to draw the chest back. This looks good. And then there's 5 breaths here. After 5 breaths, you exhale, come down onto the crown of the head. And if there's any room, you walk your hands in a little step. And then you come back up again, inhaling, good. You would spend 5 breaths here. And when I'm doing these Urdhva Dhanurasana, I'm trying to energize the legs, any back bend. I want the legs to really work, and I'm trying to soften the glutes and get the opening in the front of the hips. And then exhale, come down onto the head. And then we'll do one more time. Inhale, come back up. Good. And so if you're not able to come up on your own here, usually you would come down and then come to standing on your own. But
Yeah, hear a but.
if a teacher is standing close, then they could pull you up. They could assist you. So I'm gonna help you up, Stu. So you're gonna come up onto your fingertips here. That's it. And then use your legs and slowly come up. Good?
Yep.
All right. So that one doesn't count that's just coming up, and then we would do 3 dropbacks now from here. So I've noticed lately Sharat is giving people a different sequence where they just do these halfbacks.
So this is when they first start this backbending dropbacks?
Yeah, I think just to start to build the strength, because it's pretty intense to do the dropbacks. It can be a lot. So he'll do the halfbacks, 3 of those, and then a full drop back, just 1. But I know you do 3, so we can do 3 dropbacks, and then we'll do the halfbacks, and that's the traditional sequence. Okay, so hands to prayer. Bend the knees over the toes, hips forward over the knees. Good. And then strong legs, chest up. Good. And then exhale, start to go back. Good. Eventually, it's just 1 exhale the whole way back, but at first you just breathe. Take as many breaths as you need to get there. Good. And then again, I'm trying to get the glutes to release, the legs to take over, and then coming forward, come back up. Very good. Again. That's it. Keep pressing down through the feet. Strong legs. Good. And just 1 more. Good. That's it. And then see if you can walk your hands in for this one. Good. Keep the bum soft. Shift onto your feet. So that's why I like people to come onto their fingertips. It really makes the legs start to work. Can you feel your legs working?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then slowly come back up. Good.
Cool.
That was good. So we do 3 of
Puffing. He's trying to make it look like I did all the work, but he's puffing like mad. More than me.
It's all the smoking. Okay, so now you're going to cross your arms on your chest. Good. And we're going to do 3 halfbacks. And these are, I think it's mostly about strengthening the legs and learning how to just release your back. You're just trying to relax into it. They're not so bad. So you inhale here, exhale halfway. 1, inhale up. Exhale halfway. 2, keep your bum soft. Exhale halfway. That's 3. And then on the 4th one, we go all the way back again, and we'll try to catch the ankles.
Yeah. No.
Good. So inhaling, good. Exhaling all the way back. Good. And start to extend your arms. That's it. Use the reach of the arms to really draw the whole thoracic spine away from the hips. Reaching. Good. Great. And so this is kind of the deepest expression of the back bend. Now we're going to start to walk the hands in towards the feet. Good. And what we're trying to do as we release the glutes and press into the legs, we're trying to get the stretch here into the front of the hips, the hip flexors, iliopsoas. Sometimes you feel strong, Stu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes if you want, this isn't traditional. Shrat never does this, but sometimes I like to do this, just especially if the student's been bothering me lately. You can climb up on top and use your knees to help open up the front of the hips. Get a nice opening there. Remember, opening is our euphemism for pain in Ashtanga. Good. Yeah. But it actually gives you a cue of where to work, and then suddenly the hips get light once they get off. Good. And then slowly come back up. Good.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. It really gives, if you get a chance to have someone do that to you, it really feels like your hips are floating towards the ceiling. It's quite, once they get off, yeah. Before that, it doesn't feel like that at all.
It's almost worth it.
It's almost worth it, yeah. So that's cool. So that sort of sequence, if you haven't got a person to assist you, because so many of our viewers practice at home,
yeah,
what can we do?
Yeah, so the first thing, when you were coming up into Urdhva Dhanurasana and then trying to come onto your fingertips, this is a great way to start to train your legs into taking over, because that's what you want to happen, right? You want your legs to take over to pull the rest of the body up. So trying to come onto the fingertips, get strong legs, not strong fingers, right? Legs take over.
Push off the floor.
So I would recommend doing that, and then you can come down and use a wall, or you could stand with some stairs behind you, or
a low table,
like a low table,
but not slippy, or
something really solid. Yeah. Choose wisely.
Yeah,
and then practice. You could drop back. You could even just hang. I find hanging is a great way to open up, and it starts to develop control.
Position. So when I'm here, set up in the same way.
Yeah. So I always do knees over toes, That's it. And then hips over knees. And then you activate your legs by starting to pull the knees back, but keep the hips forward. Yeah, and really ground through the heels. That's it. Feeling your sternum start to lift, your back ribs lift away from the sacrum. And then keep the arms slightly externally rotated as you lift up. That's it. The shoulder blades are going to start to pull. And then just hanging here. So really keeping the hips forward, stretching the arms back, and you start to feel, hopefully, this nice deep stretch in the front of the body, legs supporting you. And you can imagine, as the back gets softer, more flexible in the front, the arms are going to come lower and lower.
Imagine.
Yeah. This looks good, though. Good. So if we had like a nice table, maybe a kitchen counter.
Or a kitchen stool, maybe.
That's great. So you can do that. I think that's a really great way to work. Or, you could do that, and then the last one, maybe walk down the wall.
Yeah.
It's really important to try to keep weight in your legs, like stay controlled in the movement instead of just, throwing yourself back and throwing yourself up
again. And that particular
again.
exercise we just did, the hanging there, really, because you've got to keep here or you're going that way.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're only that far from the floor, it doesn't make much difference, does it? But
yeah, it really teaches you to stay in there, and keep everything strong. Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun, guys. Have a play with that. Obviously, safety is the
be
most
careful.
important thing. Be careful. And, make sure you're ready. One of the prerequisites, I suppose, is straightening the arms in Urdhva Dhanurasana before you try dropping back.
Yeah, if the arms aren't straight, then your head's exposed.
Yeah.
And so your arms have to stay straight when you land. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And no way am I a backbender. So, it's, you can see I was up here somewhere. So it doesn't mean you have to be able to create these fantastic arcs to try it. But just make sure you trust the person that's going to assist you and maybe practice a little bit together. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Good. Thanks very much, David.
Okay.
Cheers, man.